Okay, so I'm going to give some thoughts on Daniel chapter 9, and I realize that my opinion differs from the mainstream Jewish opinion on the subject, but I'm okay with that. I'm not saying that I'm right and everybody else is wrong, or that everybody else is right and I'm wrong, but I have a differing opinion, and I'd like to voice my opinion and explain from Daniel chapter 9 why I don't believe it can be talking about the one from Nazareth. Okay, so reading the passage. Daniel chapter 9 verses 24 on. 70 weeks have been decreed for your people and for your holy city, until the measure of transgressions is filled, and that of sin complete, until iniquity is expiated, and eternal righteousness ushered in, and the prophetic vision is ratified, and the Holy of Holies anointed. So those are the things that are supposed to be seen by the end of the 70th week. That the Messianic era should have arrived, and we should recognize it by the fact that there's world peace, the temple is standing, and the Holy of Holies is anointed, is to say that we have our the Ark of the Covenant back, and the temple service is entirely complete. This has not happened to date. The Messianic era has not come, and we know that because it's very obvious that there isn't world peace, and there hasn't been a time of complete world peace, and so I continue to wait for that. Okay, so that is the end of the 70th weeks. What is the beginning? You must know and understand, from the issuance of the word to restore and rebuild Jerusalem until the time of the anointed leader is 7 weeks. Which is to say that the world will give Jerusalem back to the Jewish people, which I don't think has happened yet. We get the commission from the world to rebuild the temple. And from the time that we get that command to rebuild, and we begin the building process until the time of the anointed leader, that is the Messiah, till the time the Messiah is revealed, are 7 weeks. So at the 7-week mark is when we see the Messiah for the first time. Continuing, and for 60 and 2 weeks, it will be rebuilt square and moat, but in a time of distress. After the 62 weeks, the anointed one will disappear and vanish. So for 62 weeks we're building. And then the Messiah disappears. The army of a leader who is to come will destroy the city and the sanctuary, but its end will be through a flood. So that, to me, because the anointed leader has disappeared and vanished, this leader who is to come is a different leader, apparently a pagan leader, or some other kind of leader, and he comes to destroy the city and the sanctuary. But he's not able to, and the end of it comes through a flood, which to me means that there's going to be like an earthquake, which is mentioned elsewhere. I don't have the reference off the top of my head, but it's mentioned elsewhere that there'll be an earthquake that'll destroy the city and flood, and okay, so that's how the end of it comes. And then, in my mind, is where we have the verse fulfilled about the sanctuary, Ezekiel chapter 37 verse 26, and I will put my sanctuary among them forever, and I will build it. That, in my mind, is the time when God descends and builds his temple, not made with human hands, but with divine hands, but placed on the earth, and the temple sacrifices continued in it, and that's, to me, the temple of Ezekiel chapters 45 on. Okay, so back to Daniel. The desolation is decreed unto the end of the war. During 1 week will he, that's the false leader, make a firm covenant with many. For half a week he will put a stop to the sacrifice and the meal offering. So he's somewhat like Antiochus, seeking to overthrow the temple, the sacrifices, all that fun stuff. At the corner of the altar will be an appalling abomination until the decree will be poured out on the appalling thing. So the time when the decree is poured out on the appalling thing is at the very end of the 70 weeks. If you count it out, it's 7 plus 62 plus 9 plus half a week. That brings us to the end of the 70th weeks, at which time, going back to the first verse 24, the measure of transgression is filled and that of sin complete, until iniquity is expiated, eternal righteousness is ushered in, and the prophetic vision is ratified, and the Holy of Holies is anointed. Meaning that after these things, that's where I think the verse comes in, and your guide shall no more be hid from your eyes, but your eyes shall see your guide, and your ears shall hear a voice behind you saying, do not turn to the right or the left, this is the way, walk therein. Meaning that the Messiah will no more be hid. He'll be revealed to us again. He who was revealed at the 7 weeks will return at the 70th week. But what's interesting to note here is that this could not be Jesus, because he was revealed at the 7th week. What did we do at the 7th week is when we started temple construction. So Jesus was not there when the construction of the second temple was started. He simply wasn't. He did not reveal himself at the time of the beginning of the building of this second temple. So this means this has to happen in the time of the third temple. Okay, hope that clarifies some opinions for you. And like I said, this doesn't mean that this is like a mainstream Jewish opinion, but that's my opinion. So now you have my 2 cents.